Hey, Kevin Murray here, founder of Energize Your Business Programs. And today our topic is mini campaigns. And a mini campaign is really important if you're trying to get in front of somebody. So whether you're in sales or you're a business owner or you're just trying to influence somebody or make a new connection for any kind of project that you're up to and you need to expand your circle of people that you know, a mini campaign is a really great way to do that. And even a lot of seasoned professional salespeople can still get stuck in the habit of making a phone call, then making another phone call, making another phone call, and then they're frustrated that they're not getting response from the person they're trying to reach. So we're going to talk about how to solve that problem, why that happens the way it does, why it doesn't work, and we're going to give you a really easy step-by-step model that you'll be able to use again and again to get in front of the people that you're trying to reach. So I call it a mini campaign as contrasted with a big campaign by companies like Volkswagen or Apple or Coca-Cola or IBM. These companies spend billions of dollars and might have a year-long or a multi-year campaign, might involve Super Bowl ads. We don't have that kind of money and we don't have that kind of time to mount these big, large campaigns. So mini campaign is designed to create a result, often getting in front of somebody, getting in touch with somebody. It could be recontacting a past client, could be engaging a partner that might help promote you to their business and their clients. So whatever your objective is, the mini campaign is designed to do it in really a shorter amount of time and with a very short budget or no cost at all. So before we get into the details of how you create a mini campaign, I want to talk a little bit about the three big reasons why it's so important that you think this way, and that it's important to, even for just trying to reach somebody, it's important to think about this concept of a mini campaign. So the first most important reason why we need to do things like this these days is we need to rise above the clutter. People have so many messages. Our mailboxes are full, our email boxes are full, our phone messages are full, we're getting messages. There's all kinds of stuff coming at us all the time. We need to rise above that if we're trying to reach somebody. So we have to have a campaign, not just call them again, try them again. I tried to email them and nothing happened. So that's the number one reason we want to consider this concept of a mini campaign, to give you more leverage, more power, and a greater opportunity to reach the people you want to reach or to influence the people that you want to influence. The number two reason, there's a couple different ways that people like to learn. They're called the dominant learning styles. And there's three different styles, and we don't necessarily know the people we're trying to reach, or even if we know them, we might not be that tuned into their learning styles. So it's important that we try all the different ones because we're not quite sure what's the best way to reach them. So the first one is visual. Some people are extremely visual in how they like to learn. They see things, they consume content through their eyes. Now that may sound strange, but there's other ways that people like to learn and take in new information or get a new experience. So visual is really important, so we want to take advantage of that in a mini campaign sequence. The second one is auditory. Some people prefer to learn through listening. So that might mean we do email or do phone mail messages. We talk to people, we reach out using our voice, or we put sound in front of people through recordings, or send them to a video that might combine a little bit of the visual and the auditory. But we don't want to forget that that's more valid for some people. The third way is kinesthetic, and that's more touch and feel. So people want to put their hands on things, they want to feel something, they might want to smell it, they want to get their senses involved. So if we can craft our mini campaigns that take advantage of these three different primary ways that people learn, well, that'll give us a more likely outcome to reach the person, whatever their predominant way of taking in new information is. If we hit all of these, we might get them with one of them. So the third reason that we really want to consider using this concept of a mini campaign all the time is that people need multiple impressions to recognize and act on something new. Now there's a lot of studies out there, whether it's 5 or 7 or 9, we have to have a lot of impressions. You can't put an ad in the paper and hopefully people respond to it. So part of the idea that a mini campaign is that we're going to be reaching people over time in a nice and gentle way. But we're going to be creating these multiple impressions over time, and the goal is that they're going to respond to one of those. All right, now I want to share with you an example of a mini campaign, and I also want to point you to the download that accompanies this. There's a little PDF file that you can download that'll give you the fill-in-the-blank process. You can take notes while you're doing this, and there's some kind of bonus ideas and some bonus tips that you'll get by reviewing that PDF that I'm not going to go through on the video right here. So an example of a mini campaign might be, just day one, we're going to email somebody. And it really could be as simple as that. What's really important though is that we think about the email ahead of time, and we might also be trying to reach 10 or 20 or 30 people in this mini campaign. So once we craft the email, we can just send it to everybody individually. We can do a couple today, a few tomorrow, a few the next day. So we can kind of stagger our mini campaign over a number of beginning days depending on each person we're trying to reach. So day one is an email, and we want to have that email be something that's going to stimulate them to taking action. On day 4, maybe we make a phone call. Now these days, most of the time when you make a phone call, it's going to go to message. So you want to have a bit of a script for what it is that you want to say. And it's really important that your phone call and your email are really conveying the same message. They shouldn't be radically different. So the phone message should be prepared and planned. I always recommend that you try it out a couple times, record it and listen to it before you do it live with somebody or leave somebody a message. Make sure it feels comfortable. But a phone message could be your second step, let's say on day 4. So now they've gotten an email, that's something visual. They got a voicemail message, so they're hearing you, that's auditory. Then day 7, maybe we send them a letter. So a letter they're going to open it up, they're going to have it in their hands, they're going to be able to feel it, the paper's nice and the letterhead's nice. That makes a nice impression for the people that like to take in new information that are a little more kinesthetic. So inside of a week, we've reached people 3 different ways, and maybe one of those is more likely to get their attention. Well, then day 10, maybe our mini campaign for this particular crowd, we send them a fax. That's actually another valid way of getting in front of people. And then maybe day 14, we could visit. We could stop by if they're nearby, if they're geographically, we can get to them. So the idea is that inside of 2 weeks with this campaign design, and there's infinite ways that you can do it. We've been in touch with them many different ways. If they're all mutually reinforcing and we're just trying to get in front of somebody, we want to make an introduction, it's a really nice, it's really respectful way to do it. Then we can go back to the start. After we've done this for 14 days, maybe we take a break for a week or 2, and then you can restart it again. The other thing I want to reinforce is that, let's say you have a list of 30 or 40 or 50 people that you're trying to reach through this mini campaign. You don't have to start them all on day 1. You can have day 1 could be Monday for the first group of 10. And then Tuesday, you start 10 more, and Wednesday, you start 10 more. And then on Thursday, well, we're making 10 phone calls to the people that were our day 1 emails. And then we've got the next group moving through. So we kind of stagger the group. So every day there's just a few emails, a few phone calls, a few letters. So it becomes really manageable, especially when you have all the different pieces lined out ahead of time and ready to go. If you have letters, they're pre-printed. If you have phone calls, they're scripted. If you have emails, they're written. So everything is really well prepared. So when it's time to execute the mini campaign, you're just good to go. You don't have to think about it or plan it. The planning stage is the first part. That's the most important part I'm talking about. Then you just show up every day and do what you need to do. So this is kind of like being a manager, and then you got to go do the work like the worker and go through your mini campaign. These are some extra things that you can add into the mix that I use a lot. I really like. Send somebody a handwritten note. That's so powerful and it's so rare. I like making up little note cards that are about the size of this, and it'll have a message on the front, and they open it up and it'll have a little handwritten note for me. And I get a lot of comments from people about how that was so cool. So it's so easy. It's the cost of a stamp, and it makes a huge impression, especially if you've layered it with some of these other touches. Another possibility is making a connection request. So if you're involved with any kind of network, or we think about who else might know this person, who could connect me with them, that could make an introduction on my behalf, and make it more likely for me to make that connection. And the final thing is social media. We can take advantage of social media. You just want to be really careful and thoughtful, because some people don't want to get a whole lot of outreach from social media people they don't know. But if we combine that with these other kind of touches, maybe a handwritten notice, maybe somebody that we know in common connects us, then we make a social media request. And at some point, these people are just going to be curious, like, who is this guy? Who is this gal that's been trying to reach me? I think I'm going to answer their phone call the next time they call. So that's the concept of why to do it and how to do it. Now that you've learned this, I would recommend that your first time out, try maybe a simple 2-step or 3-step. Just start easy, start simple. It could be as simple as a phone call followed up with an email, and you might find that increases your percentages of reaching people. So again, there's a download that goes along with this that has some other great information. And other than that, this is part of a program of content and topics and tactics that I want to bring to you periodically. So if you're interested in more of this type of information, just look on this page for where you can do that. And if you think there's people that might be interested in that, please feel free to share this with them by email or by any of the social media connections that you have. And in the meantime, until I see you again, remember to be clear, be energized, and be grateful. Thank you.